so relatable to be because you get it because you're a mom and I don't have time for myself. First of all, my mission here is to help you as a woman take care of yourself. So I can't tell you to take care of yourself and then not take care of myself. Let's start there, okay? And maybe that does create quote unquote relatability, and you'll be friends with me and think I'm motivational and inspiring, even though I don't believe that, but you will not fucking hire me. And there's a big difference between being the woman who's so relatable, who's the best friend to everyone, and everyone thinks she's so great, and being hired. And that's the exact reason you're not getting hired, is because people don't see you that way, because you're not carrying yourself that way. You're carrying yourself as the woman who's fucking relatable. Welcome back to another episode of the Breadwinner Energy Podcast. Today is the day, booked out brand 2-day live masterclass tonight and tomorrow. If you have not gotten there, get your ticket. It is completely free for now. It will become something you have to pay for in the future. But it is tonight at 7 o'clock PM CST, and then tomorrow, same time, 7 PM CST. And in this masterclass, this 2-day live masterclass, I'm going to be breaking down how to create a booked out brand. And this is going to be very different from something you've probably ever learned or sat in on, because this is going to be the outer layer of what it needs to look like, what it needs to feel like, and what you need to have in place to create a booked out brand, what a booked out brand even is, what a brand is, and what are those outer layered pieces that people need to see and feel. And then also we're going to do the internal pieces, and the internal pieces of what you need to overcome, accomplish, have, or be in your life as a human in order to create this. It is the mindset, it is the energetics, and the strategy of having all the pieces in place. And we're going to talk a little bit about this today on the podcast, but in this masterclass, this 2-day live masterclass, I'm going to be breaking it down in depth and giving you a chart of what this is going to look like so that you can start to walk in alignment with that vibe, with the energy, with the strategy, right? Because I think that a lot of people in the industry think that like we've talked about this before, we talked about it even last week, is you build a business, you build a website, you build some offers, you niche down, you pick a price, you decide who you're going to help and how you're going to help them. And then you go out on social media and you blast that into the internet, and you think that that is going to create clients. And for so many of my clients, it just doesn't, right? Because first of all, we know that you have to build a community. That is a non-negotiable now in the online industry. You have to build an audience and a community. And if you don't build that, you're going to have a really hard time making sales, but more than that, consistent, sustainable, long-term sales. And so there was a point in the industry where you could just have a really good offer and that was good enough. And that's no longer the case. And so in this masterclass, I'm going to be breaking down all those components of how you build that audience, how you build that community, that cult-like following, so that you can create essentially any offer within reason. And those offers are then in demand, right? They're booked out. People want to buy from you, join all the things you're doing, be a part of your community, your space, your movement, because you built it in this way. And we're not just going to talk about what does it actually look like, meaning your visuals, although that is a huge piece and we're going to get into that today, but it is lots of components together. So whenever I think about your brand and I'm helping you build your brand, I think of it like a puzzle, right? There's all these pieces. And for so many of you, you have some of the pieces. And for some of you, you have a lot of the pieces, but they're not actually put together. And because they're not put together, it feels off. When people come to your space, they might see you saying these one things, but then doing and looking a completely different way, and then selling something completely different. And we're going to talk about what those mismatches look like today as well. But that's going to be the biggest reason why your brand isn't in demand, why you're not signing clients on repeat, is because your puzzle pieces aren't actually clicked together. And we're going to click them together in this masterclass. So the link is below. Get your ticket, come live. If you do come live, you're going to be entered to win a strategy session with me. But you're going to want to be in that room, because after this, it will be a paid mini course that you have to buy. So get it now. Okay, the other thing I want to tell you guys is that Authority, my coaching program, is open for enrollment right now. You can enroll in Authority immediately right down below, and the price to Authority is actually going to increase on March 19th. March 19th is our kickoff for Authority. It is our all-day live retreat retreat that I'm going to be coaching the entire program live in one day. So I love doing this in all of my coaching containers where for some of them, we do it twice a year. For others, for my mastermind, we do it 4 times a year. But I teach the entire curriculum live in one day. And the reason I love doing this is because I am not the type of person that loves to go through a portal and watch a bunch of classes. I just don't have the time, energy, or a mental space to do that. And sometimes I will, if there's one off in a coach's container that I'm like, ooh, I really want to learn this, I will. But for the most part, I'm not sitting through trainings. I'm just not. So the reason I do this is because when you come into my programs, not only can you learn it live with me in one day, so you have the entire curriculum already given to you live. You don't have to sit through hours of training. But also when you come into my program, those are recorded. So then you can just blast through it in one day if you are waiting for our next live retreat. So our next live one is March 19th. So that is coming up in a couple days, right after the masterclass. So you have to get in between now and Wednesday to get the price of 3333, and it's a 6-month container. On March 19th, after March 19th, it's then going to go to a 12-month container for 5555. So the price is going to increase. If you have not gotten in, do that now. This program is all about being in demand. It is all about being booked out. We talk about sales. We talk about never feeling salesy again. We talk about content, messaging, how you show up online. We talk about your brand, your next level confidence, easy offers. This is literally building the foundations for growing a big business and brand. It's about being seen. It's about no longer hiding and playing small, hiding behind the scenes of your business. And I just want to brag a little bit on our students because they have been in this program now somewhere between 3 to 5 months, and they have just done really, really big things. One of my students said that within 4 months, she had 3 offers built, 2 programs and a course, and a free guide and a free event. She signed 4 paying clients. She also got 40 people to join her free guide, 25 people to attend her live event, and 33 people to join her broadcast channel. She said, I've never had this much traction this fast in my business ever before, nor have I even had this many signups for just my free things. So I just love being able to not only help them see how much you've done in such a little time, but also for you, because I know for a lot of you here, you move really fast. I move really fast. I am a person who loves moving fast. And you might be thinking, then why are your programs a year? And I am such a firm believer in, number one, long-term mentorship, but number 2, execution. Coming into a coaching program, and I ran it for 6 months. And when I ran it for 6 months, some people were like, oh my gosh, this went so fast. I'm like, it did. I can't believe 6 months is already over. It's insane. But your time, not only does it go really fast, but we want to give you enough time to actually implement, get coached, implement, get coached, implement, get coached. And when you do that method of taking what we've learned or coming to get coached on a weekly basis and then applying it and then seeing what is and isn't working and then coming back and reporting, getting coached again and then doing that again, that's when we see the biggest traction. And we have a rule in our business and with our clients that we give everything 90 days and then we test it and then we only make small, very small shifts or pivots based on the data we've collected. And then we run another 90 days before we make any major changes. So we don't want to make major niche or pricing or offer changes within those 6 months because we know that you're building the wheel. You're building up momentum. And if you build momentum long enough, you're going to start being in demand. But if you don't give it enough time and patience to see the momentum and track the data and see, okay, this is actually what is working, this is what isn't working, and this is where we can just make small tweaks, not big changes, then we can use that data to make more success. Versus if you see that and you're like, okay, nothing's working, I didn't sign a client, you scrap everything, change the price, change the niche. Now you've started your momentum wheel all over again with your audience. And then you have to start from ground zero. And then we have to start that 6-month traction over again. So if you're in a 12-month container, now we've been able to test a 90-day period 4 different times while you're still in the program. And this gives us so much data about you, your business, your audience, what's missing, what isn't missing. And then if you choose to go on with us, you can join our mastermind for 6 figures. But if you don't, you get to leave this program with 12 months of hardcore data to know this is exactly what is missing in my life, in my business, in my mindset. And this is exactly the type of program or container I now need, or the hire that I need to fill these gaps. And you no longer have to guess. The biggest thing I see with business owners is they have no idea what their issues are. They guess what they are. They guess like, oh, it's a content problem. It's a messaging problem. It's a price problem. It's an offer problem. And usually it isn't. But if we have all that data, we know exactly what it is. And that's why it's so important to have long-term containers and mentorship. In my world, it is a non-negotiable. And that's why the price is going to move to 12 months. I had another student say, I came into authority December 2024, and by February 2024, so in 2 months, I built a new offer, had my framework outlined. And what is crazy is when I came into the program, I was going on a completely different direction and niche. And I wasn't even excited about it, and Tay could tell that. So she challenged me to find something else that I'm actually good at and passionate about. Once she had me do this, everything seemed to fall in place. I was no longer struggling about what to talk about. I'm excited to talk about my niche, and I would have 100% recommend Tay to anyone who needs a kick in their ass now and then. So again, things move really fast in the program. And just because a program is 12 months doesn't mean things aren't happening or happening really fast, or that people aren't seeing results until 12 months. It's that we want to see massive amounts of results within that year. We want to see lots of growth in all areas. And we know that sometimes people come in and their growth is a mental challenge. It's a mental plus a little bit of a strategy challenge. For others, it's just like simply strategy and not as much the mental, or maybe it's like an energetic thing. So if we know that it's going to take us time to clean up the mindset stuff, time to clean up the strategy stuff, time to clean up the energetic stuff, and then actually put that into play, we want to give you enough time to do that, track that, run the data, get coached, and then implement again before you're ever gone from our offer, because we want to make sure that, again, when you leave, you're set up for success, whether that means you don't need to hire someone in the moment, or you know exactly what it is that you need. Okay, so let's recap. The masterclass is tonight and tomorrow. Get your tickets completely free. Link is below. Authority is open now. Get in the program. If you aren't sure, the free masterclass is going to give you everything you need to make that decision if this is or is not the offer for you. If you're not ready for authority, we have a lower level to start building your brand. If you're already past that point, we have a higher level to start scaling your brand to 6 figures. So we'll talk about that in tonight's masterclass. But authority is open. Price increase is Wednesday. The live event is on Wednesday. Our all-day retreat is Wednesday. So get in there between now and Wednesday morning so that you can join that retreat, and you can join at the current price of $3,333. And let's get into today's episode. Okay, I want to talk to you about the puzzle pieces not aligning for your brand, and then I want to talk about what it actually looks like. This is going to be like a small intro to what we're going to cover in the masterclass. So the first thing is your puzzle pieces, okay? I have a graphic on my website. If you go to my homepage and you scroll down to where it says Breadwinner Energy Core Pillars, you can see this image that I'm going to talk about. This image is all about the things that you're going to embody working with me, and then all the things that you're going to tap into on the strategy end to create a booked out brand. We're going to talk about those. So the first one is radical ownership. This is non-negotiable for your own success, is that you have radical ownership of your life, of your motivation, of your mindset, of your lack of things, lack of self-love, lack of accountability, right? Radical ownership for the life you want to have is a non-negotiable. And if you are waiting for everyone else to give you permission, you're waiting for everyone else to be the reason that you get up every day and do the thing and are self-motivated, or you don't have radical ownership in loving and accepting yourself, this needs cleaned up immediately for growth. It is a non-negotiable. The next one is magnetic AF energy. We talk a lot about this in authority, is creating magnetic energy versus chasing energy. There's a big difference, and you can see it. And once you see it, you will never unsee it. And when you go out into the online space, you will know immediately if someone is in their magnetic AF energy or if they're in their chasing energy. It is clear as day. And you don't want to be in your chasing energy because, number one, it's exhausting. It creates burnout. It creates audience resentment. We see this a lot with people when they start to like get like weird with their audience and start saying things like, talking about like, you know, you need to invest. And again, we've all been here, right? But you can just see the biggest difference between that magnetic energy and like pulling people in through your brand versus being like the opposite of chasey, weird, hustly energy. The third pillar is leadership plus influence. This is going to be something that you learn as you go. It's not like a course you can take. Yes, you can take courses on leadership and influence, but this is more of like a becoming, embodying work of stepping into a leadership role. Something that I am currently working on, but I think I've always embodied and I'm embodying even more, is limitless leader for women, being a limitless leader, showing women that there is nothing off limits to you. The sky is the limit. And the reason I'm so passionate about this is because I came from nothing. And so I didn't come from a background that would say, success or success would be possible for me. And walking in that alignment, showing women to walk the walk and that this is actually possible for you is really important for me, but also that my community does the same thing, which is where the influence comes in. You want to be walking the thing that you're telling other people to do, doing the thing you're telling people to do and walking that walk, but then also showing women that nothing is off limits. If I can do that, so can you. And that is the goal of the leadership influence embodiment. And then we go to the good girl rebel. This is all about unlearning good girl conditioning. I have never had success from being a good girl, a people pleaser, bending over backwards for people, not standing up for myself, not putting people in their place if they needed to be. I have never been successful from that place. And this is your permission slip to be whatever it is you want to be, whoever it is you want to be. And there's a line between having boundaries and standing up for yourself and choosing yourself first, and then just being a mean person. There's a big difference between that. And the goal here is that you are a good person and you love and care people, but you have good boundaries and you do what you want to do and you say what you want to say and you wear what you want to wear and you don't wait for other people to give you that permission and you stop caring what everyone else thinks about you. Which then leads me to our last outer core pillar of high fucking standards. A lot of you here need to raise your standards. And for some of you, you're like, no, I have high standards. Like, I want a big life. Wanting a big life and holding the standard for a big life are two completely different things. Wanting a lot of money and a lot of clients and a big business and a big brand, wanting it is one thing and doing something about it is completely different. Having the high standards of like, this is the standard and I'm not willing to fall below this, which again, if we own our radical ownership and we own the magnetic AF energy, we own our leadership and our influence, and we own being the good girl rebel, high standards comes very naturally after that because you know your worth and you know who you are and you love who you are and you trust who you are and you're leaned into that magnetic AF energy. You're leaned into that you are a leader with influence and that you do exactly what it is that you want to do. And when you do that, high standards comes from that. And that's why I have the wheel the way I have it. It's why I have it in that order. It's because it's a cycle and the cycle is step by step. Which then leads me to the other side of the cycle, the inner side of the cycle, which is your expertise, your purpose, authenticity, consistency, and emotional appeal. And these are the things that we're going to embody to create the strategy. Number one, everyone here, if you're a coach, a mentor, a service provider, this should all be based on your expertise, what you have your master's degree in, not a literal master's degree, but your master's degree in life. What are you an expert at? Not what are you passionate about? Not what did you learn from TikTok and you just love it and it's like the hot topic of the moment, but what are you an expert at, which then goes into purpose. What is the purpose of you here? What is your bigger purpose in life? What is your bigger purpose in the world? And if for a lot of people, they don't know. When they come into my world, they're like, I don't really know my expertise, or they think it's one thing and we quickly find it something else. Or they're like, I don't really know my purpose, or they do know their purpose really well, but they don't know how to bring that purpose to life. They don't know how to bring that purpose to something tangible. And that's what we do. And it's always followed by authenticity. This is a non-negotiable in my world and exactly what we focus on in authority, because you have to be your authentic self. You have to be better at being you. And when we do that outer ring we just talked about the radical ownership and the magnetic energy, etc., when you do those things and you embody those things, authenticity comes so much more natural, but you have to do the inner work first before we can get there. Which then leads me to consistency. Again, consistency is consistently showing up for your business and brand. We're not ghosting. We're not posting and ghosting. We're not starting and stopping. We are consistent with the life we want to live and we show up as her high effing standards. But again, when we do the outer work, it fills in the inner gaps. And then the last one is emotional appeal. And we're going to talk about this today because this is the look of your business, the look of your brand. So many people are caught up in the relatability lie, and we have to break this down. You have been lied to about relatability. You just have. And here's how I know. I know from a couple reasons. Number one, relatability is a spectrum. Being relatable to one person, you're not going to be relatable to the other because it's a spectrum and everyone's definition of relatability is just different. Okay. So that's number one. And just because you're relatable to some doesn't mean you're relatable to all, and vice versa. And also, you've been lied to because a lot of the coaches that get hired in this industry are very, very unfucking relatable. There is almost nothing relatable about being a breadwinning woman, being a woman of success, having lots of money, and also being a stay-at-home mom at the exact same time. There's very little relatability in women chasing big goals and dreams and being entrepreneurs, and there's just very little relatability to that in the big scheme of the world, right? Now, when we condense this down to like the online industry, it's more relatable, right? There's more of us here. It becomes more relatable in our world. But when you leave our world and you go out to the other world of civilians, I like to call it, and you go hang out with your family or your friends or people from high school or college or whatever, it's not as relatable anymore, is it? They're like, they don't get it. They don't understand. They don't. They think you're odd. They think you're weird. They're like, you're weird. You're like a social media personality. They make fun of you, right? Because it's not as relatable. And so that's the first piece of this. But the other piece of this is the coaches that get hired on repeat. Look at the most successful coach in your world, right? Or that like you think is the most successful coach who's making 6, 7, multi-7 figures. She is not relatable. She is not choosing to be relatable, and she's not trying to blend in and fit in. And she has a great brand and a great brand presence, and she is dressed and she has her hair done and her makeup done, and she looks like the part. Now, a lot of you here are going to be like, not happy about this, and you're going to find someone. I know you guys are going to find someone who's like, this person doesn't wear makeup. Okay, that's not the point I'm making here. Stay with me. Yes, there are a lot of us here that look the part and also sometimes don't wear makeup, okay? And sometimes we will show up without our makeup on, right? However, in the grand scheme of things, you need to actually be giving effort to your brand presence, your brand images, your graphics, your website, your images, your content. There needs to be some effort involved. If you're telling people, if you're marketing, let's just say you're marketing a big life, right? You're marketing a big life and like next level them, and you're marketing this like next level energy and like becoming this better version of yourself, and you're marketing like taking care of yourself and being really successful. And then they come to your brand and it's just like thrown together. There's no thought behind it. There's very little thought behind the visuals of the brand. And there's very little thought behind the images. And the images don't scream next level woman at all. And then they go to your social media content and you're never put together. You're not even brushing your hair. You just look like you just rolled out of bed. Or you look exhausted mentally, physically, and emotionally. That does not scream next level woman. That does not scream sign me up for that. That screams misalignment. And a lot of you are going to not like me saying this, but it's the truth. And it's exactly why you don't get hired, is because people don't feel the connection. People are really good at picking up energy. People are really good at looking at someone's social media or website or brand and immediately seeing and feeling a disconnect between what you're saying, what you're doing, and how you're looking. There's a huge difference in those pieces. And so I would challenge you to take a very good look, an audit at your business, at your brand, at your messaging, at what you're saying, and then how you're showing up and what you physically look like. And ask yourself, am I walking in alignment with what I'm telling other people to do? Now, again, we want to go back to relatability. Maybe relatability for you is workout clothes every day. And maybe that's even on brand for you. I love workout sets. I'm obsessed. I am in leggings and a matching legging top all the time. I am like in love with those looks and sneakers. There's a way to wear those outfits in a way that is next level. I also pair those with my hair done and or semi-done, right? Like this look can look like literally putting in a headband that matches the outfit my hair is done and it looks semi put together, right? Minimal effort, but looks put together. Maybe I'm going to put on a necklace. Maybe I'm going to put on a bracelet. That takes little effort, but looks put together, right? Maybe I'm going to put on some tinted sunscreen and some mascara. Little effort, looks put together. What I'm not going to do is roll out of bed. I still have black under my eyes. I haven't even brushed my teeth. I haven't brushed my hair. I don't have any sort of, I'm still in my pajamas. Like there's no effort, and tell women to be their breadwinning highest level selves with high fucking standards. People are going to be like, excuse me, what? Because again, and for a lot of people, they're going to be like, it's so relatable. Listen to me. It's so relatable to see a woman of success and she doesn't have to take care of herself. This is going to happen for sure. It's so relatable to be because you get it because you're a mom and I don't have time for myself. First of all, my mission here is to help you as a woman take care of yourself. So I can't tell you to take care of yourself and then not take care of myself. Let's start there, okay? And maybe that does create quote unquote relatability and you'll be friends with me and think I'm motivational and inspiring, even though I don't believe that, but you will not fucking hire me. And there's a big difference between being the woman who's so relatable, who's the best friend to everyone and everyone thinks she's so great, and being hired. And that's the exact reason you're not getting hired, is because people don't see you that way, because you're not carrying yourself that way. You're carrying yourself as the woman who's fucking relatable. People don't buy relatability. You've been lied to. People don't buy relatability. They just follow the page because it's motivational. They hire the person where it feels unrelatable, but it's the life they want to live. And that's the piece that's missing for so many of you. Is you're like, I just want to be the relatable mom that everyone understands. That's not the person that gets hired. It's not the person that gets hired. I want you guys to take a look at, and again, I want you to do this for research purposes, but like the women who get hired, who are at their next level. And so there's people out here, I can think of a few of them. They're like so mad that these coaches are like wearing designer. They're so irritated. That would never be me. That's fine. It doesn't have to be. But she has a level of authority. She has a level of, she takes care of herself and she's walking in her next level alignment and she is making a lot of money. It's the illusion of being that version of what women actually want, and the money that they want to make is why she gets hired. That's the piece that's missing for you. And that's what we're going to break down in my 2-day live masterclass. So get your ticket. It's also what I'm going to help you master inside of authority. So join immediately. As always, thank you guys so much for being here, and I will chat with you on the next episode.